Hello everyone and welcome to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at learning about exponents and powers and bases, and we'll be looking at how to evaluate those. Just a reminder that this is the full-length lesson, so if you want the shorter version where we just sort of go through the big topics really quickly, I will link that in the description below. Okay, so when you look at this problem here, the way you read this problem, I have the words down here, okay? The way you read this is 3 to the 4th power. You could also say this is 3 raised to the 4th power. 3 with an exponent of 4, okay? Any of those would be an acceptable way to read this. And so some terms here. The base is the number at the bottom. Okay, it's the big number at the bottom. So in this case, it's 3. The exponent is the little number in the corner, and that is 4. Okay? And a reminder that another word for exponent would be, a power. Okay. So here's our cool clock for today, which means that it's time to see if you just understood what I said. So go ahead and pause the video and try these two problems. And when you're ready to check your answers, go ahead and unpause the video. Okay, now that you've had some time to work on these two problems, let's take a look at your work. So for the first one, you should have said that the base is 1, the exponent or power is 5, and the way that you say this in words, this is 1 to the 5th power, or 1 with an exponent of 5, okay, anything along those lines. The second one, you should have said the base is 4, the exponent is 0, and the words for this would be 4 to the 0th power, or 4 raised with an exponent of 0, something along those lines, okay? Now for these, when there is a 2 or a 3, there are some special ways to say this, okay? So you can always say this is 4 raised to the 2nd power, or 4 with an exponent of 2. But what is more common is the way you read this, this would be 4 squared. So if there's a little 2, you say the word squared. And for 3s, you would say this is 5 cubed. 5 cubed. The reason for this is that a cube is 3 dimensions, and a square is 2 dimensions, for those of you who want to know. All right, it's time for you to practice what you just learned. So go ahead and pause the video and try these two problems. And when you're ready, go ahead and unpause and we will check your answers. Okay, now that you've had a time to work on these two problems, let's go ahead and check your solutions in 3, 2, 1. So for this one on the left, you should have said this is 6 cubed, 6 to the 3rd power, 6 raised to the exponent of 3. Anything along those lines will be fine. And then for the second one, you should have said this is 5 squared. 5 squared, 5 raised to the 2nd power, something along those lines. Okay, now let's talk about what they actually mean and how to evaluate them. So 5 to the 2nd power means that we do, get that out of the way, 5 times 5. There are 2 of these 5s, right? So the big number tells you what you're multiplying. The small number tells you how many times to multiply. And then you just do 5 times 5, which is 25. This is your final answer. Okay, let's look at the next one. 2 to the 3rd means that I do 2 times 2 times 2. Right? There are 3 of these. And so then you just go from left to right. So 2 times 2 is 4. Bring down your times 2, and 4 times 2 is 8. Final answer. For this third one, 0 to the 5th power means 0 times 0 times 0 times 0 times 0. Well, 0 times anything is just 0. And for this last problem here, 1 to the second power means 1 times 1. And so the answer is just 1. Now, the most common mistake, and I set this as a separate slide because I see it all the time, every year, over and over and over again. So please learn from this. 2 to the third equals 6. This is what most students, when they look at this problem, they get it mixed up in the head. They say, oh, 2 times 3, and that's 6. But remember, that is not correct. Remember, this problem is saying it's not saying 2 times 3, it's saying 2 times 2 times 2, which we already solved this, will give us 8. All right? So please, please, please keep that in mind when you're solving these types of problems. Okay, it's time for you to practice what you just learned. So go ahead and pause the video and try these 4 problems on your own. And when you're ready, go ahead and unpause and we will check your answers. Okay, now that you've had a chance to take a look at these problems, let's check your answers. So for this one, you should have said 3 times 3 times 3. That would be 9 times 3, which is 27. For this one, this is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1, so 1. 5 to the second power, 5 to the second power is 5 times 5, which is 25. And 0 to the third power is 0 times 0 times 0. 0 times anything is just 0, final answer. All right, a couple of special cases here, special rules. Okay, the first one, over here on the left, anything, and I wrote it in words at the bottom, any number to the 0 power is 1. Any number to the 0 power. So 3 to the 0 power, the answer is just 1. Okay? And for this one on the right, any number to the first power is itself. And what I mean by itself is, maybe we should say it's the base, right? The base. So 5 to the first power is just 5. Final answer. Okay, it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and try these 2 problems on your own and pause the video, and then when you're ready, unpause and we will check your answers. Okay, now that you've had a chance to try these problems, let's check your answers in 3, 2, 1. So 10 to the first power is just 10, 6 to the 0 power is just 1. All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.